Ok.
Ok, qui sta andando c'è il cane di dietro.
Benissimo. Pronti?
Si sta andando.
Cosa ci sta facendo vedere? Isotta, se vuoi. Salta in tutto,
Isotta. Isotta. Hello, hello. Back again. Today we talk about something, a tiny small piece on the violin bridge. Actually, the problem is that the E string cuts into the maple of the bridge, and this certainly lows down the string. And once the string is too low, and let's say you love the position right now how it is, there's actually too much material above the string in that area. So we want to, or I want to show you what you can actually do, maybe even by yourself if you have everything, in order to prevent that the E string cuts too hard into the bridge. If the bridge now is pretty big on the upper side, then certainly it doesn't cut that quick inside, but sooner or later every string goes a little bit inside, yeah? But if you keep your bridge very well, you can keep it for many, many years. And since if you're happy with the sound, how your instrument sounds, then why should you change your bridge? There's no reason to change it if everything is perfect, right? We talk about this small piece here. I think it is called Parchment, yeah, in English. And it's kind of a, yeah, or a thin paper, a rough paper, or actually a goat skin. It's skin. So this skin, for us violin makers, there are some good makers around who cut them themselves, and they sell them, and they count them, and they sell them like 50 pieces all together. And if we put them now here on the table, they're a little bit different colors, so that means if it's a little bit darker, very likely this darker one, or more yellowish one, is a little bit thicker compared to a very light one, like this one here is very light, okay? So you could now measure the thickness, and then you can also use them in a case, you know, if you want to lift a string, okay? I wouldn't actually raise now the string with this one. I would probably, before attaching it in the right position, I would probably fill up this space here with a tiny piece of wood, for instance. Then I shape it again, then I refine the right position, sign it again. And then before attaching this one, and this is now the gross part, to make this skin a little bit softer, and I just keep it a little bit in my mouth, okay? So if you're a violin teacher, don't do it in front of your students, because then they probably will never play the violin anymore, but you can feel it, that it becomes slowly softer. Yeah, Anna is laughing already. We take a time, it takes about 1 minute is not enough, but 2 minutes, it depends certainly also on the thickness of this piece here of skin, okay? Let me see, it becomes more transparent. It's swallowing up a little bit. It becomes soft, okay? And this is how we want it. Now, in order to put it on the right position, just check how much I want it on one side. You wanted to have it somehow a little bit on both sides the same length, but actually it doesn't really matter too much. And then it is on it like this. Now, this is just only with my saliva. There's one more thing that I see it very often, even now on the YouTube channel. I saw a few channels, you know, very high technology makers here around the world using super glue. Very quick. I'm happy for them that they do it like this, and it's really quick. Time is money. But the super glue, if you glue this parchment on your bridge with the super glue, sooner or later it will loosen up and it makes a very ugly noise. So if you want to avoid that in 1.5, 2 years, and time passes very quick, how we all know. Then I would recommend to take a white glue. Just a very simple white glue, how you find in your shop around the corners where you buy your birthday greeting cards or something like this. They have a paper glue, white glue for office use or children in school, and this is exactly what you want. And you know, you just need a very, very tiny spot. Okay, sorry, this one here. There's always a little bit here. Just to show you. Where is it? Here it is. Very good. I don't want it too wet and not even too dry. Here, this one is my stuff here. Yeah. Now I put some white glue on the whole thing. Really little. Always on the underneath the table, as we do, right? And then I try to put it very nicely centered in the middle in order that I find it. I can still check if this is too much or not and everything. Okay. Once it is nice, then I just flip it over. See if I have to use a little bit more in one direction or in another. You can still slip around. Then I press it. The one which is going over, I take away. I keep it in the right position. And like this is how it looks like. Now, my tricky part is usually I make my bridge, I do everything, and then I put the parchment on the violin, which is already completely finished. Here, even on the A string, but here I put it in order to lift it up a little bit. But now, let's take the one here, another Linea Macchi violin, and here it is very dark, so you can see it very well. So once I did my gluing part, as I showed you before, just with the bridge all in my hand like this, I can do the whole thing as well here. So I slip around, see that it's nicely centered and everything. Then I bring the string in the right position, okay? I pull it a little bit, but I don't tune it completely, otherwise it's immediately going down to the right position in the position as it has been before, and I don't want that. I have here you know, these clips for the laundry. So I have it cut it like this, and I make a cut like this inside, okay? It's not so precise thing, it's just very quick. Huh? And on this one, I put on top of it like this, just to keep it in position, okay? And then I leave it like this for 30 minutes. And then actually you can take it down, tune your instrument, and it will last for very, very long time, okay? Now, there's one more thing which I actually wanted to point out, because somebody was just writing it now in a comment and wanted to know, Edgar, could you tell me the difference of a parchment and the small tiny tube which is in all E strings, you know? And which is actually this one here, this tiny tube here. Now, some companies make it very tiny, like Pirastro, and other ones make it very big. I don't know the name, but I saw one which is transparent, pretty long. And I just want to point out that this tiny tube is not enclosed with your string when you buy it to prevent that the string goes into the bridge. This is actually a completely different issue. It is a physical problem of an empty played E string, a completely steel string which has a physical problem when you start playing, that the string doesn't really start immediately quick as it should be, as it always works as soon as you press a finger on your fingerboard. So this tiny piece of tube which overlaps a little bit the E string is a kind of a small damper of the vibration of the empty E string, and so you don't have this physical problem. So the parchment and the tube are two different things. So even if you have the parchment and you don't want to have this physical problem of the empty E string, put it on, okay? So I think this could be something interesting for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we keep in touch and we see us next time. Okay, bye bye, bye bye.